All right, so I made $10,000 in my first month dropshipping, and that's because I understood the importance of product selection. In today's video, I'm going to break down 5 types of dropshipping products you should not be dropshipping in 2025. I've tested over 14 or about 15 different products in the last couple of weeks, and I lost a ton of money. And my goal in this video is to help you avoid making the same mistakes I made. If you stick with me all the way to the end, I'll break down what a winning product that you could be testing right now. I'm also going to give you some examples and show you a store that's doing absolutely crazy. I'm trying to bring transparency back into dropshipping, guys. So if you find any value throughout this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The first product that I will not be dropshipping anymore, and this is after testing hundreds of dollars, are these kind of gimmicky toys and trends. Here's an example of one of these types of stories right here. It's like flywheel toy. You might have seen it, but you can throw it out and it lights up like an LED light, and then it can come back to you. Something also, by the way, if you take a look at the store, it's horribly optimized. At the end, I'm going to talk to you about how to build an actual optimized store and show you a good example of a well put together dropshipping store in 2025. But basically, this is the product, right? Very gimmicky. And my thought process after doing testing for the last 2 weeks, testing about 15 or so different products, I tested a similar product, somewhat similar to this, that's kind of in the same ilk, right? Kind of trendy and hypey toy. And it started off really good. Like I started making a ton of money right away, but it burned really quickly because again, it's a trend. So I don't know how you guys want to do drop shipping, but for me, I'm trying to build a long-term sustainable business, and you can't really build longevity on trends. So definitely avoid any of these gimmicky toys and trends. This website's also horrible, by the way. I use a tool called Winning Hunter, which I'll leave a link down below in the description if you want to sign up. And I'll show you how I use it. But basically, like I can source and find any store that's selling any type of product like this. And a lot of the stores I was looking at were not doing good, right? For the right reasons. Now, if you hop on one of these products early, you can, make a ton of money, but your store is inevitably going to stop making as much money and it's going to start losing its momentum and you're just going to end up losing a ton of money. For other people, you might try one of these gimmicky toy products or whatever, and you might not make any money to begin with, and you're just wasting money. So obviously avoid this. This is the epitome of a dropshipping product. And nowadays, most consumers are well aware of what dropshipping is, and they'll see a product like this and they'll just swipe past your ad and not even pay you any attention. The next one is shapewear, man. And I really, really thought I was onto something when I was testing this one shapewear brand. I was testing these like Colombian fajas on one of my stores, and I wasn't aware of it, but Colombian fajas and shapewear in general is super saturated. Like way more saturated than I even realized. Like everybody and their mother has some type of shapewear store. So guess what was happening? My store was at like a 12% conversion rate, which if you know anything about dropshipping, that is insane. But my CPMs were like $150 when I was testing it on Facebook ads. That is insanely expensive. That means for every 1,000 views, it cost me about $75 to $120 something dollars. Ideally, the metric that you want to be around is less than $30 for your CPM costs. That's a really good sign and a really good indication that what you're marketing isn't too saturated. And clearly, with those metrics, it was beyond saturated. So like these Colombian fajas, so many people have them and sell these types of products, and they're a good product, right? I'm not saying you can't find some success and make some sales. I was making sales, but it was so hard to scale up this type of store because it's just you're fighting with all these big competitors who have way more budget than you. And if, it goes without saying, I'm really speaking to the beginner dropshippers. For those of you that might already have a successful store selling something similar that like this or whatever I have on the list, props to you. I'm fairly new to dropshipping as well, so I'm not any expert. I'm just sharing with what I'm personally not going to be dropshipping anymore and what I've tested with my own money that I worked really hard for and now is kind of down the drain. And real quick intermission, by the way, that's the game of business and dropshipping. So for me, testing and losing some money, it's all good because when you do find that winning product, you'll make all your money back, right? Just a little bit of a mindset tip for you guys right there. All right, so the next thing that I will not be testing, at least not anytime soon, is supplements, right? So supplements are actually a really great product. The average experienced dropshipper will tell you, hey, supplements is something you should be doing. Down the line, I want to revisit supplements, but the reason why if you're a beginner like me, I would avoid supplements is because you need a really good supplier and you really need to know what you're doing. Now, supplements, there's so many benefits to supplements, right? It's a reoccurring product, right? If you use if you follow me on Instagram, you would have seen that I was testing some reoccurring revenue. And if you use a certain tool like Recharge, you can get reoccurring payments, subscriptions, right? People buy a supplement They use it for 30 days and now they need to buy it again, right? So supplements are really good because you can build reoccurring revenue and it makes it way easier to scale. And the second and third time that customer is paying to buy your product, you're not having to pay to reacquire them as a customer, right? Now it's your profit margins increase over time. Also, they solve a problem. They have really good margins, right? You can source supplements for like $6, $7 and then sell it for $30 to $40 because the perceived value is really good, right? Think about weight loss supplements, back pain, knee pain, eye vitamins, all that type of stuff do really well with supplements. The problem though is as a beginner, one, you need good marketing, right? You need really good marketing because everybody and their mother is well aware of the profitability of supplements. So you're fighting against so many different supplement brands and companies. But that's not even so much the hard part. The hard part is really conveying and picking a good product that you can then also get a good supplier that can source those products for you, because you got to be careful here. Like, supplements are one of those things that people need to see a difference and change for them to keep buying. And you can run into some issues as well and so a lot of problems if you aren't sourcing the right supplements and people are digesting that. So it becomes really tricky with the logistics of getting a good supplement. I'm not saying it's impossible or hard. I personally know people that are doing really well with supplements, but I think it just as a beginner, as great as it is, and I think everyone should work towards some type of reoccurring product like supplements. I think as a beginner, it just makes it is a little bit more steps in the process that makes it a little bit more difficult to get off the ground, right? You also really need good marketing, really good copywriting, really good website, and really convey that, which isn't hard, especially with AI. But I think it can be a little tricky if you don't have a really good supplier down, which most beginners don't, right? They don't have that process down. So something like this, great product. I'm sure people these guys, if they're buying them, single, like drop shipping, probably sourcing it for like $9. But if they get it to a wholesale point, they can probably source each bottle for like $3, and their profit margins go through the roof. So really good product in general. Like, all types of supplements are really good in general, but as a beginner, it can be a little tricky. As my journey continues to unfold, will revisit supplements definitely because it's really good. But even things like sea moss, right? That's, I guess, technically a supplement, but not really. Things like sea moss or whatever, if you can think of any type of recurring product, it's really good. Just make sure that anything that people are consuming, you have a really good supplier with good certificates and stuff like that, because that can get tricky over time. All right. Next up is heavy fitness gear products, or just heavy products in general, right? This is really a detriment to your margins because the heavier product is, the more it's going to cost you to ship from China to anywhere else in the world, right? Especially if you are selling to the US, right? So shipping rates go up significantly the more heavy a product is, and it's really hard to remain profitable. So for example, this Pilates board that was going super viral, these guys are probably sourcing this for anywhere, like probably the cost of the product and to ship it out to people is probably right around $70. So their break-even ROAS is going to be much higher, and you want to have a low break-even ROAS, right? You want to be right around like 1.5 or less, right? The lower your break-even ROAS is, the easier it is to stay profitable, right? Because as you scale ads, your break-even ROAS or your ROAS continues to deplete a little, right? By nature, depending on the product. So you want to have as much room for margin as possible. That's why, again, supplements are really good if you know what you're doing. So I would just prefer this. Again, it comes down to having a good supplier. If you have a good supplier, you have a good supply chain and an agent that helps you get really good competitive prices, then be my guest to do all this type of stuff. But I just think as a beginner, it's really hard to have a good supplier. And again, this website's so bad. I think it's not really that optimized that well. Let's see, inspect. Mobile. I mean, on mobile, it's not that bad. But I just think it screams dropship to me, and I'm going to show you guys a really good example of a clean and simple website that dropshippers are using now in 2025 to be profitable. All right, next up is non-problem solving household products, right? This has gotten me in trouble as well. So for example, like this sky projector light, right? This doesn't really solve a problem. It almost falls in line with the first thing, which is gimmicky toys and trends. It doesn't really solve a problem. It's cool. It can probably get some initial sales, but it's not going to really be able to scale at 6 figures a month unless you're really pouring a lot into marketing and ad spend, which as a beginner, you don't really have the resources to do that. So Again, type of product that I would stay away from. We see this all the time, all the LED lamps and humidifiers. Humidifiers aren't the worst in the world because at least there's some type of problem you can associate with that, but it's not significant. It's not a deep enough pain. And people buy these things here and there, but it's not enough to be consistent. All right. So with that being said, what type of products should I sell in 2025? Well, I'm finding some success with the product right now, and I'm going to outline some of the criteria that I think will be really beneficial to all beginner dropshippers. So what I would recommend, and take my advice with a grain of salt, I'm very transparent with this process. You guys can look back and see my videos. I'm just now new to dropshipping, just started in January of 2025. So take my advice with a grain of salt. I have been doing a lot of research though. I am dedicated to this process and I spend hours every day researching, learning, connecting, testing with my own capital. And I have some experience in business and marketing over the last 4 or 5 years. So a lot of this information I've gathered through secondhand, but also some of it as well through my own personal experience. But what's working for me and a lot of other dropshippers I personally know is a wow problem solving product. So here's what I understand. If we're testing 15 different products over the last 2 weeks and spending literally like $5,000 or more on, testing and stuff like that, I found that it's not enough, especially in 2025, to just have a problem solving product, right? Like it's cool to have a problem solving product. A lot of supplements and stuff like that, shapewear, they solve problems. But if you can have a wow problem solving product where you can visually see the product solving a problem, then you have a great chance of being successful. I'm going to show you guys a product here in a moment. I'm also going to show you a store really cool that's really well optimized as well. So here's some of the quick things, right? So one, immediate visual appeal. If the product can do something in your creative or your videos that is solving a problem, that's going to immediately help, right? Like I'll show you guys an example in just a moment. It's like more of a massager kind of thing, but like stuff like that does really well. Obviously, you have to be solving a problem, preferably a boomer problem. So we always talk about, hey, find a problem-solving product, but a lot of people, there's a wide spectrum of problems that people have that can be solved. I recommend you focus preferably on boomer problems, right? What's a boomer, right? An old person. What are people in their mid-30s and on struggling with? A lot of them are overweight. A lot of them have poor vision. Maybe ankle, back, knee, shoulder, elbow pain, right? Things that boomers have problems with. Maybe it's hard for them to get out of their car, or hard for them to get out of bed, right? Or maybe they're pregnant and they have, pregnancy is a big thing that obviously boomers have problems with, because people that are pregnant are normally older adults. So think of that type of stuff. You can use ChatGPT as well. Like go to ChatGPT and be like, yo, ChatGPT, what are some common, deep, everyday problems that people above the age of 30 struggle with on a day-to-day that they desire to have solved? And then you can look through that type of stuff. And then some other really good points here. Unique product that isn't saturated. Obviously, you still want to stay from saturated products. So this is where having a tool like Winning Hunter, which I'll show you guys in a moment, really can be helpful, because it's kind of difficult if you don't have some type of tool like that to know what's saturated and what's not, right? And then, of course, this is something that I did not pay close attention to until recently. You also want to make sure your product has a good and unique marketing angle, right? So think about the ad creatives, right? If you don't know already, most people just take their ad creatives from TikTok, right? Just go over to TikTok, type in your product, and you'll find a laundry list of different people reviewing the product, talking about the product, making videos about the product, or something similar to what you could use in a Facebook ad. The thing that's really good though is the better the ad creatives are, the better the videos are, and the more unique the market angle can be, the greater chance of your videos performing really well, especially in the ad platform. So with that being said, let me show you guys an example of a product that fits this to a T. So this right here is literally perfect, right? This is literally perfect. So remember, there's certain criteria we want to follow, right? So immediate visual appeal, right? I have a couple videos pulling this up, but look at this product. You can immediately look and see it solving a product, and there's a visual appeal because look at that. Doesn't that look strange or unique or different? It literally looks like someone's massaging this person's back, right? Here's another example of this product. It looks like you can scroll through your social media feed, pretend you're the customer, right? You're scrolling through your feed. You see something like this, you're going to stop the scroll immediately because it looks weird, right? It looks different. It looks kind of like, hey, what is that, right? You have curiosity. So first things first, visual appeal, right? Excuse me. Next up is problem solving. So obviously this is solving a problem. It's a massager. Now, massagers are a lot of the times within a saturated market space, right? They can be saturated. Think about the massage guns. Think about all the different neck massagers, arm massagers, and all that stuff. They fall within a saturated niche, but this is a different type of product that stands out differently from other products. So something I have not mentioned is that it's okay to go into saturated niches as long as your product fights it or can kind of go into it and with its own unique angle. No massagers that we know replicate what it feels like to actually get a massage from a person's hands. And this is what this cool little massager is doing. You can visually see, and it looks different. And people would say in these videos that it also feels different as well. Now, the next criteria is like a good, unique product that isn't in a saturated space, right? So I literally just went into Winning Hunter here and typed in back massager. I came across this one and I'm like, all right, cool. So the first thing I did was hit the three dots here that I'm covering my face. I hit the three dots here and I'm like, hey, Winning Hunter, go find me every other person selling this product that is on, selling your product and running ads to this product. So I hit those three dots. It takes a little moment to load here. There's so much data that Winning Hunter has to compute. So it's a little slow in wonky at times. But now I can find more people selling this product. So I know it's a winner because other people are selling it. And to me, it's not that saturated yet because it's only a handful of people I see doing it, but they have so many different creatives selling the product. I can also filter at the top here by a certain region and how long they've been running the ads for. So I can see, okay, is this saturated or is this just now becoming popular? Because I can literally set the ad date creation and see when people started launching this. I could pick a certain country, like if I only wanted to see the US. And now I can look at these people's stores and also track their sales. Now, I was looking at this ahead of time, but yeah, I believe this person's store isn't even working. Their loss. I don't know what happened there, but you can go through and eventually find somebody that is making sales with this product, look at their store and just replicate what they're doing. All from just a simple Google, like not Google search, but search here in the Winning Hunter app, which is so sick, right? So that is all I did, right? And now you can take those creatives from TikTok, build your website similar to how your competitor is doing it, and then you can launch it on Facebook ads. It's that simple. All right, so I found this person here, and it says that they're running this ad for the neck massager, right? So what I wanted to do is I want to check out their store and see their sales, and just to make sure that this is actually profitable. So I hit the three dots here, and I can track their store immediately as long as it's a Shopify app or Shopify store. And I went in here, as you can see, Banasaur, this is this brand here. They're doing $50,000 a month with their store. And it's predominantly in the US. And as you can see, they're running 150 ads for that same neck massager that I just showed you guys, right? Like it's insane what you can do with this tool, Winning Hunter. So I'll leave a link down below in the description where you guys can sign up. It is my affiliate link, so if you do sign up with that, I would greatly appreciate it. But these guys are, this tool is amazing. I use it for literally everything. I track people's stores, whether it's, track people's ads, whether it's Facebook or TikTok ads. I can then track their store, see what ads that they're running. Now, I will say that these numbers are not 100% accurate, right? They're not 100% accurate. You take it with a grain of salt. But it just gives you some base level that, okay, they are generating sales with their store. But this number is not accurate. I would say it's a few $1,000s off, but all you need to know is that they're making money with their store. So now I can even look at the ads that they're running. Can even go to their website too. This is their website. They're selling the product for $130. Wow. And they're getting it converting. By the way, the next thing that I was going to talk about is how to create a good optimized store. And they're using the same theme that I was going to recommend to you guys, which is the shrine theme. And, it's no surprise to me that they're making that much money with their product because they're using one of the best themes possible. So this actually segues perfectly into that next topic there. So you can go into Google and type in shrine theme. It's $300, but you have lifetime access to this specific Shopify theme that most experienced dropshippers use. I had an example store I was going to share with you, but hey, this actually, worked out in our favor here because these people are using the exact same theme. This is a theme I'm using now in all my stores, and I've seen a massive difference as far as conversion goes. And it doesn't look dropshipping. You know why? Because they have what we call a branded feel. right? They're not just throwing up nonsense on their page. They have a color scheme, which I think could be a little bit better, but you can see it's purple. They have high quality photos. This is super important. High quality photos. They have some GIFs here, right? So you can see the product in use. Some more pictures. They have customer reviews. This is all within the Shrine theme that costs $300, but is definitely worth it, right? You can see that this is building trust because we can physically see. One of the biggest skepticisms about buying products through Facebook that consumers have, right? You got to really think about what a consumer goes through. Now that everyone knows what dropshipping is, and there's been so many people selling stuff, people have gotten scammed, right? A lot of people are hesitant to just buy whatever because they're afraid of buying a product and it never gets sent to them. But if you can have something like this, which you can do easily with the Shrine theme, where you have a little video carousel of just people talking about the product and you sharing it, which you can snag all these videos off of TikTok, that just builds more trust because it just seems like you're a more serious brand. And these guys are just drop shipping, but they know what they're doing, which is really cool, right? So now I'm seeing multiple people talk about the product. They have the product in hand. So I know if I order, I'm going to get the product because all these people have the product, right? So I think there's a little bit more optimization that they could do with this website. There's a lot of empty white space, which I always recommend you avoid, but totally fine. And they have imported reviews that you can easily import from AliExpress or something like that, or even Amazon. You can import reviews from Amazon. And they have pictures, which nowadays, if you don't have reviews on your website, you're not going to get any conversions or sales. Good luck to you. So yeah, this isn't the best of stores, but it's using the Shrine theme. So for the most part, it's pretty solid. I was going to share with you guys this other tool called the Wave Mat. Or not tool, sorry, the other website using the Shrine theme. This product is also really cool, right? So it's a jacuzzi wave mat thing that you can put into your bathtub and you can visually see it working. And it also solves a problem, right? For people that want to soothe their muscles and ease stiffness. So another example of a good looking store, right? They have as seen on these major news outlets, which just builds trustworthiness. They have pictures of people and videos of people with the product, these are all just TikTok videos, by the way. Some GIFs, right? GIFs are a really good sign on a website. Same exact approach, right? This is the exact same theme, and some picture reviews as well that they imported from like AliExpress or from Amazon or whatever, right? So boom, like if you guys are doing this plus using the product advice information I gave you earlier in this video, there should be no reason why you aren't making a ton of money with dropshipping. Me as a complete beginner made 5 figures in my first month just because I understood this concept very early on in my journey. And for some reason, a lot of dropshippers go months, maybe even years before learning this critical information. So if you guys learned anything from this video, make sure you like, subscribe. I'm on my journey to get to 100K a month as a dropshipper. So make sure you follow along the journey because I'm sure you're going to want to see everything that I do because I'm sharing it all with you guys. My goal is to bring transparency back into dropshipping. With that being said, follow me on Instagram if you haven't already. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care.